What does this Mars bar, this bottle of water, and this amazing, super awesome matriculations t-shirt have in common? I'll give you a hint. It's the same thing as Loud with Crowder's amazing free content, Ben Shapiro's decent but slightly less entertaining content, and whatever the this shit is.
Here's the story of a mad bearing who had a slightly bigger dick than most. Introducing my totally super new bearing bunch apparel range.
Do you have it yet? Alright, I'll let you in on a little secret. Every one of those things mentioned, in fact every piece of clothing you wear, every drink you buy, or even the car you drive, is an ad. Even things that aren't selling consciously or commercially can be advertising. Like the shirtless douchebag at the gym, a bad Facebook profile, or even the middle-aged idiot who makes a fool of himself on the evening news. Advertising in one form or another is absolutely everywhere.
But how does demonetisation hurt YouTube the most? I don't like lies or clickbait.
Patience, short bus Matty. I'm getting to it.
Yay!
Advertising has a history that's longer than most would expect. Some historians believe it dates all the way back to cave paintings in ancient India around 4000 BC. Ancient Babylonians used stenciled bricks that communicated information about various merchants. The ancient Egyptians used papyrus to create wall posters and pamphlet-like documents. One example of these advertisements offered a reward for finding and returning runaway slaves. The Romans would paint the walls of buildings to advertise their products and services. They had an abnormal interest in brothels. Lots and lots of brothels. In ancient China, musicians would play flute music to attract customers to stalls, and vendors would sometimes even set up entertainment in order to attract the attention of market-goers before offering their products for sale. Ancient Chinese merchants would also spruik their goods by shouting in the market, the same way vendors do in markets today. This was the most common form of advertising in medieval Europe as well, until the invention of the printing press in the mid-15th century. Not only did this invention see the rise of Protestantism and other breakaway Christian sects, it also saw an explosion in literacy and the rise of pamphlet and poster advertising. Merchants started putting flyers and posters around their shops and stalls in order to add colour and grab the attention of potential customers. Wall posters and spruiking remained the most common form of advertising until the growth of newspapers in the early 17th century. After which, newspaper ads became widespread and are still used today, although some newspapers are better than others. Skipping forward a couple of centuries, we now have radio advertising, TV advertising, online banner ads, and some of us even get to use AdSense. But that's only if we toe the party line.
Oh, hey, Emperor Google!
For those of you who aren't up to speed on the ADPOCALYPSE, I'll link to a couple of videos in the description. Long story short, a bunch of advertisers left YouTube because their ads were being shown on videos that they didn't approve of. This resulted in a change to YouTube's algorithm and widespread demonetisation of creators. For more information, pause this video now and check out the links. Otherwise, we shall proceed. Now that we've taken a quick walk through history, have a good understanding of what advertising is, and know what the YouTube adpocalypse is, we can finally answer the question: why does demonetizing independent creators actually hurt YouTube the most? I mean, the lost revenue is just a drop in the ocean for Google, but it may force content creators to go and get a normie job. No!
Hey, weren't you supposed to be looking for work today?
Yeah, I already did. I applied for a unit maintenance test pilot, an executive director of corporate services and urban growth, and I even applied as a remote area nurse. But nobody's called me back yet. I guess it's just not hiring season.
Ugh, dumbass.
Ultimately, advertising is less about the product being sold and more about who's paying attention and why. You could have the prettiest, most amazing billboard in the history of billboards, but if you park it in the middle of Antarctica, nobody is going to see it. Although, to be fair, if someone did put a billboard in the middle of the South Pole, it would be pretty damn cool. Conversely, you could stand in the middle of Federation Square and start yelling at people and demanding they buy your stuff, but it's unlikely to be very effective. In fact, it's more likely to elicit a strong, negative emotion than a positive one, thus more likely to give people a bad impression of your product. After all, if it's so good, why are you demanding people buy it? Why aren't you letting the product speak for itself? The same thing happens when we get an annoyingly pushy salesman who just won't take no for an answer or keeps offering solutions that just don't work for you. It shows they either aren't listening, aren't paying attention, or just don't know what they're talking about. When you watch TV, broadcasters aren't selling you entertainment. They are selling businesses the attention of their viewers. The point of the TV show is to hold a viewer's attention for long enough that they stick around and watch through the ads, as well as offer an opportunity for product placement. When Ben Shapiro says,
we'll talk about that in just a second, but first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Quip. So, let me give you a challenge. Find a gift that's affordable, practical, Instagram worthy, and on top of that list, I will tell you, is Quip.
What he's really saying is these guys are paying me money so that I can keep entertaining and informing you, but also buy their stuff.
But why does it hurt YouTube the most?
Yes, I'm getting to it, if it's not already obvious. The answer is quite simple actually. When YouTube demonetizes content, AdSense revenue might not be there, but the audience is. And the audience is all that matters. By demonetizing content, YouTube are hurting their own revenue stream while still having to pay substantial bandwidth costs whether the video is monetized or not. This is a substantial drain on funds for them that creators just don't incur. Yeah, it makes life a little harder for those content creators, but once you realize exactly what advertising really is, things become a little less of an issue. After all, there is nothing stopping creators from doing sponsored content or even selling their own matriculations t-shirts. Honestly, it's the best ad ever. Other than maybe Tranny Bane, which in my opinion would be award-winning, if there are awards for this kind of thing. Demonetisation is annoying, I know, and it's not fair that it affects creators' livelihoods. But all that it really does is force creators to diversify their income streams and hurt YouTube's bottom line. What did this guy once say to me? Don't get bitter, Matty, get better. Wise words indeed. I'm not sure why he always looks so worried though. And yes, I do get where YouTube are coming from when it comes to offensive content and having advertisers pull ad campaigns. But the solution isn't to demonetize legal content. The solution is to optimize the platform. In fact, one of the first videos I ever did on this channel was talking about this problem. I'll link in the description. The video's horrendous, but you might like it. One thing I'll add to that video is that we should give advertisers the option of selecting which specific channels they want their content on. Here's the kicker, YouTube could charge a premium to do it. Do you honestly not think there are plenty of big gaming companies that would pay extra to have their games advertised on PewDiePie's channel? That's their exact target market. Toy companies would love to advertise on genuinely kid-friendly content, especially given how susceptible to advertising children are. Most businesses couldn't give two turds in a bad sandwich whether or not content is offensive. Most businesses care about one thing, the bottom line, as they should. A business has one obligation, to make a profit for its shareholders. Yeah, they have moral and legal responsibilities as all people do and shouldn't be deceptive or anything like that, but ultimately it all comes down to one thing, dollaroonies. Demonetisation is annoying and it does affect the livelihoods of independent creators, but ultimately who it really hurts are Google's shareholders. They lose revenue while still paying for bandwidth and damage their relationship with the people who actually make the platform great. Independent creators have the direct attention of their audience, and in most cases it's a lot more dedicated and focused than anything that dinosaur media could possibly expect. That means it's worth more per second. A lot more. It's just that many advertisers don't seem to have quite worked this out yet. Some large companies may pull ads, and sometimes for very good reason, but the solution isn't to demonetize legal content. The solution is to give businesses the option to say, take my ads off that channel now, and for YouTube to do that service for nothing. It's not even a difficult solution to implement, because when Google aren't firing people for wrongthink, they still have some of the best IT engineers in the world. I'm sure they could manage it with very little effort. People don't come to YouTube for the site itself. They come here to watch content, and their preferences are clearly for independent creators. When Google demonetizes those creators, they are essentially saying, we don't want to make money from your audience, but the audience is still there regardless. Ultimately, bad business practice does nothing but hurt Google shareholders. Money makes the world go round, and bills have got to be paid. Where there is a profit to be had, a profit will be made. The ads are evolving, and they are intelligent, so I'm going to leave you all with the words of a very wise man. All you read and wear or see and hear on TV is a product begging for your fat ass dirty dollar. So shut up and buy my new record, send more money, fuck you buddy. Maynard James Keenan, lead singer of Tool. Hey guys, really glad you watched the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, just leave a like and a comment. Go check out all my other stuff, and if you like that, you can subscribe. Also, follow me on all the social media. I don't go on Facebook anymore, and I won't be using Facebook again, but you can follow me on Twitter, Minds, and Gab as well. And hopefully I'll see you next time.